Hi, welcome to the video. My name is Isaiah Coley, and some years ago, I decided that I was going to prioritize my consciousness above everything else. The reason some people seem to have life so easy, and other people who are in very similar physical circumstances seem to have it so much more difficult, has nothing to do with the circumstances at all. It has nothing to do with the outside world. It has everything to do with that person's ability to move within the world. And your ability is shaped by your consciousness. It's shaped by what you believe about yourself. If you're carrying an energy that feels insecure and unworthy, subconsciously, people will recognize that, they will feel that, and they will respond to you in that way. This is all happening on a subconscious level. Subconscious meaning you are not aware that it is even happening. Just like your heart is beating right now, it's happening on a subconscious level. You don't actually have to think about your heart beating in order for it to beat. If you look at yourself in the mirror and think, wow, that is a capable person, that is a smart person, that is an emotionally intelligent and driven person, guess what? Your life is going to become a reflection of the way that you view yourself. You're going to act in ways that are in accordance to that self-image. You're going to show up for yourself consistently because you believe that you're the kind of person that does that. On the contrary, if you're somebody who looks in the mirror and you don't like what you see, and you think you're lazy, and you think that you're not good enough, and that you're a failure, your life is going to become a reflection of the way that you look yourself in the mirror. And so I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and ask, how do I view myself? And that'll be the answer to why your life is exactly the way it is. Maybe your life is perfect. Maybe it's amazing. I guarantee you when you look in the mirror, you're going to feel that way about yourself. If your life is not amazing, if you don't feel like life is handing you experiences that are fulfilling, odds are that you don't like what you see when you look in the mirror. And that's okay. I'm not saying this to shame you or make you feel bad about that, because you shouldn't. You really shouldn't feel bad about that at all. In fact, feeling bad about that would be buying into that BS self-image that you see when you look in the mirror, because the person that doesn't feel good about themselves, of course, they're going to feel bad about the fact that they feel bad about themselves. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is recognize that it's not actually who you are. I know that might sound a little outlandish because you're used to being that way. You're used to being a certain way. And so it feels like life has to be that way. It feels like you have to be that way. When you go out in public and you see people around you, you feel like you have to present yourself a certain way, but the truth is you don't. In fact, you are completely free to express yourself and to view yourself however you want. Life is your sandbox. You are the creator of this experience. Now, this can be very difficult because of a thing called resistance. A lot of us experience resistance. And the way I'm going to define resistance is anything that you are pushing against or forcing out of your experience. And a lot of us are living in a constant state of resisting our experience. We don't like the experience that we're in, and so we're trying to escape it. And in trying to escape it, we're pushing against it. But unfortunately, our experience behaves a little bit like a immovable wall when we push against it. You can almost think about, I don't know if you've seen Harry Potter, but the devil's snare plant, when they fall in it, Hermione says, don't fight against it. It'll only kill you faster. You have to relax. And as they relaxed, the devil's snare plant allowed them to slowly descend to the room that was hidden beneath them. And they survived and they were okay. They didn't get choked out by the plant. Life operates in a very similar way. The experiences that are happening that are a result of the self-image, the person that we see in the mirror, how we view ourselves to be, we got ourselves in this situation. Through our life decisions up to this point, generated this experience. But understand that this experience is just a reflection of a past version of yourself. You don't have to continue to behave in those ways. You don't have to continue to relate to reality in the same way you used to. And the way to do that is you have to relax. You have to understand that forcing yourself to change is only going to create more resistance in your experience. You can't remove resistance with resistance. And this is the hardest thing for a lot of people to learn, which is why they'll hear this information and they'll pass over it and say, well, this isn't really useful for me. And they'll go back to the classical self-help knowledge. Just be more productive, bro. Just lock in, bro. And they'll continue to repeat the same cycles, not really getting anywhere because they're not understanding what it is that's actually driving their experience. So I recommend that you be patient, because this can be a little bit difficult to understand at first. I know it was for me. I know when I first started hearing things like this, I thought, yeah, okay, yeah, right, it's a little out there. And I get it. It does go against how most of us were taught things work. We were taught that in order to create an experience for ourselves, we have to go out here in this world and do the right actions. But what nobody taught us is that those actions are dead without our intention that lies behind it. And now you need to become aware of the secret, the hidden intention that your mind is putting out. Because if you're putting out actions into the world as inputs, but in here you feel not good enough, then every action that you do is going to be painted and colored with that energy of I'm not good enough. Every video you make, every art piece that you create, every conversation that you have is going to be riddled with the feeling of I'm not good enough. And because of the way that you're taking those actions actually affects the outcome. So you actually want your actions to be clean. And the way to create clean actions is you want to be doing things from a state of non-resistance and of peace within yourself. When you're making the video, you don't want to be judging yourself. You don't want to be judging the person behind the camera. You don't want to be judging anything you're experiencing. You simply want to show up and perform the action cleanly from a genuine space. And when you start to do that more and more in your experience, and this is what I've noticed in my experience, is things begin to improve pretty dramatically. I remember when I first got this job that I'm working right now, which is I'm a mate on a yacht. There was some resistance that came up in the beginning. I started to get into fights with my captain, and I started to struggle with procrastination and slacking off in certain things. And I noticed it within myself, and I was very frustrated because this was like the opportunity of a lifetime for me, and I felt like I was messing it up. And it felt like it was because I couldn't help myself but act this way, because that was the conditioning, the identity, the way that I viewed myself playing out. So I actually had to change the way that I view myself. Instead of viewing myself as somebody who struggles to get along with people and struggles to do a good job and to show up and to do the right thing, I started to tell myself a different story. I started to tell myself that I'm the best motherfucking deckhand that's ever existed. I started to feel more motivated. I started to take more care with the things that I was doing. I started to go the extra mile. I started to take initiative. I started to fix the relationship between me and my captain. I stopped making it about me and what I wanted, and recognizing that I wanted other people to take responsibility for themselves before I took responsibility for myself and my situation. That was a limiting belief. That was a way that I perceived myself. And when I changed that, everything around me changed. My relationships changed dramatically for the better. And now, my job is going extremely well. I'm very well respected. I'm very well treated. And I couldn't be more grateful. And that goes back to the beginning, to when I decided to prioritize my consciousness over everything, over actions, over relationships, over strategies and tactics, absolutely everything. I decided to prioritize my consciousness. And that was the highest leverage thing that I did in my entire life, and I'll continue to do that for the rest of my life. Because when you realize how much your consciousness plays a role in absolutely everything that you do, your thinking, your workouts, your conversations, your business, your pleasure, the things that you play in, I've noticed that the things that I enjoy become more enjoyable as I release the conditioning is what I like to call it. It's the conditions that your mind has been programmed to place on reality, to place on your experience. Things must be this way or they must be that way. When I started noticing those conditions that I placed on my reality, even the things that I have fun doing, like rollerblading, for example. Now, I actually really, really enjoy rollerblading. I wake up at 6 a.m. and I go down to the beach and I rollerblade for about 30 minutes before I start my day. And I was toying with that idea for months because I found that I enjoyed rollerblading, but I didn't always enjoy it. Sometimes I would be frustrated because I wasn't as good as I wanted to be. And then I recognized that that was conditioning. Conditioning saying that I can't enjoy this thing if I'm not as good as I think I should be. And so I let that go. And then I began to enjoy the rollerblading regardless of my skill level. And my skill level has increased. My strength has increased. My endurance has increased. Everything has gone up. And so I know the new year is coming around the corner. And maybe you're feeling a sense of panic. Maybe you're feeling a sense of failure. A sense of, I could have done more. That's okay. Let that go. Because the truth is, the year is a construct. There is only now. The year is just a tool that we use to segment our time so that we can structure it efficiently. But you don't have to treat it like something that defines your worth or defines who you are in any way. Right now is a new moment, and you actually get to choose who you are right now. So, I don't even recommend, this is funny, I don't recommend doing the New Year's resolution thing because that is based off of a belief that sometime in the future I'll have more energy to do it. I'm a believer in doing it now and removing these concepts of time that limit us, that we use really as an excuse. I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow. These concepts exist within our mind, but have you ever experienced a next week? Have you ever experienced a tomorrow? It's always ever now. Tomorrow becomes now when you wake up, and then it's now. It's never been tomorrow. It's never been next week. So I recommend releasing that conditioning and doing it now. What is it that you've been avoiding, and why have you been avoiding it? Just ask yourself that question. And you probably know the answer to it. And that's okay. Don't resist whatever resistance comes up. Just notice it. Acknowledge it. Recognize that it's not actually you. It's just conditioning. It's just a habit that is really coming in place to keep you safe. It wants to keep you in what you're used to. Because it takes a lot of energy to leave your current reality and to do something vastly different. And your body wants to conserve energy. It doesn't want to waste that energy because it's risky from a survival standpoint to waste energy on something that you don't know is going to provide better results. And so the mind would rather provide the same results than get you better results. That's your responsibility to guide your mind to providing better results. And you can do that. You do that by noticing that you truly want to do something. And even if your mind suggests that you can't do that thing for whatever reason, whether it be because I'm lazy, because I'm tired, because it's too hard, that's not actually true. And if you look past it, you realize you have the ability to do it anyways. And when you realize that you have the ability, when you truly realize that you actually have the ability to do it anyways, you start doing it anyways. And then the more times you do that, it gets easier. It's okay if this is really hard in the beginning. It was really hard in the beginning for me, and it still is difficult at times. It gets easier. It gets a lot easier. It gets so easy to the point where you will look back at a certain point and be like, holy shit, how the fuck am I doing all of this? I don't even know how I'm doing all of this. I don't even know how I'm doing all this. I don't know how I came out here to go on a walk and I had this brilliant idea to use a stick as a extended pole for my camera and to do a walking talking video, because I just did a walking talking video for my buddy Will and it actually came out really good and I wanted to try this style. See, it's pretty cool. All that happened because I'm constantly releasing resistance to my vision, which is to create a business where I can share my insights, where I can share my knowledge, and other people can benefit. And along the journey, there's been a lot of resistance to sharing these insights. There's been a lot of resistance that is saying, well, maybe the things I'm saying are not structured properly or structured in a way that's perceived as valuable. And, you know, I've had to do a lot of work to let that go, and I'm still doing work to let that go. And that's okay. This is a journey, not a destination that we're trying to get to. What I'm teaching is a way of life, not an endpoint. And if you adopt this way of life, if you begin to actually allow your experience to dissolve before you, to changing your identity, to becoming the person that you really desire to be, that's when things really start to change. That's when you start to really feel different. And that's when life starts to really feel different. And that's what you're looking for, isn't it? You want things to change in a substantial way that really feels different and new and aligned. That you wake up excited in the morning. Imagine that, waking up and excited for the day. There's times where I'm exuberant for the day. And it's so refreshing to feel that way because, like I said, I can remember many, many times and many years where it didn't feel that way. Where I would wake up with dread. I would wake up and wish that the day didn't have to commence, that I could stay in bed and sleep the rest of the day off until the weekend. I don't have to do that anymore because I released the conditioning. And if you would like to have a conversation about this, if you would like one-on-one coaching for this, I have a link in the description. The first call and session will be free. I would love to have a conversation with you, get to know you, you get to know me, and we'll see where it goes. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.